since I was young. I've bit my tongue since I was young.
Hello everyone, Daniel Kerr here. Yeah, I'm sitting in my car. Sometimes it's the only good place I can find for peace and quiet. Actually just bought this Mercedes-Benz ML350 and man, I love it. It's like a dream. I found a super good deal. Only 128,000 miles, which for a Mercedes is very low, you know, mid to low. Anyway, today we're going to talk about 4 of the top ESX hacks to use in a performance, and then I'm going to use it all in a performance, right? These hacks are going to be listed out in the description below with links to the original tutorials that where I talked about these hacks. One of them is not really a hack. It's to the performance. It's the performance paradigm where you use shift and pattern to revert back to the original, the saved state of a pattern. So it's not exactly hacks, and you know, but it's something people don't really know about a lot. So still very powerful. I wasn't sure. I recorded the performance first, and then I recorded the little mini tutorial that is included in this video. Of course, the links below go to the original tutorials, which are a lot more in-depth. The thing is that I wasn't sure if I was going to put the performance first and then the little mini tutorials, or if I was going to do it vice versa. I decided to put the little tutorials first. So sometimes when I'm explaining things, I do mention the video that you just watched, when in reality it's the video coming up. If you just want to skip to the music, then skip ahead a little bit, etc. Hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That helps me out because it shows my videos to more people. That's how YouTube works. Also, go to ghostwrittenclips.com. There's a link to that in the description as well if you want to get resources for the ESX. And anybody watching this, I failed to mention this many times, but if you want to get free packs from me, you can just send me an email to SnowMetalUniversity@gmail.com. Of course, when you go to ghostwrittenclips.com, there's a spot right at the top where you can opt into the email list, etc. I want to say, some people are all about, why do you ramble? Why don't you just get to the tutorial, etc. Yeah, that's fine, but this, you know, SnowMetal YouTube channel, it's mostly music, but it's kind of my lifestyle channel. I talk about all kinds of stuff. Sometimes I make smoothies. Sometimes I brew beer. Sometimes I talk politics. Sometimes I talk supplements or microdosing, but mostly it's music. Sometimes I teach the Bible, right? Anyway, want everybody to be blessed. Love you guys. Okay, so the very first hack that I used in the performance is the shift plus pattern hack, right? Which I featured in a video 2 years ago. And here's how it works. Okay, I got one pattern here with a drum break. Listen. And this is the state that the drum break is saved in, right? So what we can do is we can mangle it and do all kinds of things to it. But at any time, if you hit shift plus pattern, well, it's a stretch part, so it goes back to its original state. Interesting thing about that is that if you hit it again, it goes back to its affected state. And then back to its original state, okay? You can use that with any pattern, and it really works well. Okay, for the second hack, it's very similar. Listen. We have the same break, okay? And if you notice, I have the motion sequence going, and what I've done is every other pattern, every other bar in the pattern, I have a trigger, and in that trigger I set the motion sequence to trigger, and what it does is it reverts that sample back to its original state. Okay, so what I mean is I have in this motion sequence, if you go to step edit, you'll see that the pitch for this trigger is set to 0. Okay, both of these are set to 0. That means that if I change the pitch, when that trigger comes back, boom, it slaps back to 0. Okay, if I go to the filter type, I can change it to high pass or band pass, but it'll always go back to low pass filter. Okay, the cutoff is always set to 127, right? So that it goes back to its original state. Resonance is to 0. Reverse is turned off. Modulation depth is set to 0, and so on and so forth. So when I mangle this, and you can set these parameters to anything, but it's just like parameter locks on the Electron devices. You can mangle the sample beyond recognition, and it will always snap back to 0. Let me show you what I mean. The start point too. Start point is also back to 0. Let me show you what that does. Back to 0. Okay, very powerful trick. Okay, the third hack that I want to show you is one that I covered a couple of weeks ago, which is to use drum parts and use the motion sequence to put in note value. Okay, so without the motion sequence on, I've just put an arpeggio of notes. All right, and because this is going to be a synth part, okay, this synth is tuned to C. Listen. Okay, and the interesting thing is, here's what it sounds like. A bunch of C notes, okay? Now I can use pitch to change the note, but the original value is C. And that's important because if you go to the link below where I go to the original tutorial, you can see that when they are all tuned to C, I put a chart in there, and you can see that chart in that video, where you can set the motion sequence value for each one of these notes. You can adjust the pitch using motion sequence to put in note value and fit a certain scale. Okay, let me show you what happens when I turn on the motion sequence. Voila! In the drum part, we have a third or a fourth or a fifth keyboard part. Okay, really powerful tool. Okay, now here's the next thing. The next hack, number 4, is exactly like it. Okay, this synth that I'm using in here is part of the sample is called synth 1, and actually it's 64 synths, and if you scroll through them, they are there's 64 synths that are sliced. Okay, so I'm using right now slice number 32, and one of the most powerful ways to increase the versatility of your performance is to to scroll in real time while it's playing through various slices or various drum hits or various samples, right? So let me show you how that works. Listen. Okay, you know what? I'll play this tiny sequence from the set you're about to watch, and you can hear how it works together. Listen. And again, there is a link down below to go to that original tutorial on this hack, which actually is from years and years and years ago. So anyway, love you guys. Check out this performance, and have an amazing spring, summer. Be blessed.
Remember
A raid, man!